Hello everyone, I'm Bingyu. Today I'm going to present our work on smartphone runtime permissions. This is a joint work between UC San Diego, HKUST, and Whova Inc. Nowadays, we can perform various activities with different apps on the smartphones, such as taking selfies, making phone calls, karaoke, or watching videos. For certain functionalities, the apps may need some permissions to access sensitive data operations, such as camera, microphone, or photos. The permissions give us control over this sensitive data. In the runtime permission model, the apps will request permissions when users start using this app. Here is one example from Snapchat, asking to make and manage phone calls. Users need to make decisions based on the context in the app and the information from the dialog. From the information in the dialog, the users need to know what data is inside this permission group, so that they can decide where they can share this data to the apps based on the context. Currently, the information is mainly provided by the systems, as shown in the dialogs. If the users misunderstood the system's provided information, users may make uninformed decisions. In this work, we aim to identify the problems in the comprehension of the runtime permission model and evaluate their impact on the users. We propose three research questions. First, we conduct a study on how commonly do users still have apps with install time permission apps, and can they understand such apps correctly? We will get to the details of this part in the next slide. Second, in the runtime permission model, can the system provided information help users comprehend the permissions and their capabilities? Third, what actual information, if the systems can provide, would impact users' decisions? We will first present our study on the permission model change. The current permission model on Android is the runtime permission model as shown in this figure. It is released since 2015 in Android 6. The runtime permission model allows you to make decisions when you start using this app, and you can make decisions by groups. But before Android 6, Android adopts a model called the install time model. In this model, the permissions will be requested before you start using this app. You have to accept all the permissions to use this app, and there is no context when you are making decisions. In order to adapt to OSs that support the runtime permission model, app developers need to make a certain change to their apps so that the apps can handle the permission API changes correctly. But what would the system do if the app does not change? The answer is that the Android OS still handles it in the old way. As shown in the figure, the App Store still provides the notices to the apps only when they are downloading this app. More specifically, we call this kind of apps low version apps, whose target SDK version is before Android 6 with the install time permission model. Therefore, we propose two questions. First, how commonly do users still use this kind of low version apps? And second, can users differentiate these low version apps? To understand the users' real decisions for permissions, we used the permission data from real users, which was collected from the Apple Permission Checker. We have the list of installed apps from 4,600 users, as well as their decisions for each permission of all apps. One caveat is that we don't have the demographics of the permission check users, so the results may not apply to the general population. First, based on the data collected by Permission Checker in 2018, the low version apps are pervasive. Among the 4,600 Android users, a large percentage of users have at least one such low version app installed. Note that this is already 3 years after the introduction of the runtime permission model. Besides, we find that these low version apps are used by many users, and they are still actively updating. This means that the developers either lack the motivation to update their apps, or they just intend to do so to get the users' data without their notices. Since the permission model has changed for a long time, users may have misunderstandings for the apps in the App Store. In our study, we find that more than 1/3 of users believe the low version apps will ask for permissions after they start using this app. This is potentially dangerous because users already grant these permissions unconsciously when they download this app. Besides, even though users can revoke the Russian app's permissions, only one user revokes its permission. This means that very few users go to the settings to change the permission for the Russian apps. Second, we will look at the comprehension of the runtime permissions. In the runtime permission model, users can manage permissions by groups, and a permission group includes a set of related permissions and capabilities. Here is an example. The phone permission group on Android has 5 related capabilities, including getting phone number, make a phone call, get a phone unique ID, etc. My question is that can users comprehend all the permissions and capabilities inside the permission group based on the information provided by the systems? To quantitatively evaluate users' comprehensions, we designed one survey for the permission groups. As shown in this example, users need to choose all the permissions that are included in the permission group. Each participant is required to answer 4 permission groups. Based on study, we find that only 1 in 20 of survey respondents can infer the accurate scope of permission groups based on the information from the system dialogs. Most users either miss some options in the groups or choose more capabilities than the permission group actually has. Based on stats, we find that there could be 2 reasons for users to make wrong choices. First, users may miss some options because it's hard to infer them from the system description. As shown in this example, the information only shows allow this app to make and manage phone calls. Only less than a quarter of users know that after granting this permission, the app can get your phone's unique ID too. Another reason is that the users may include function-related permissions. For example, after granting the camera permission, many users believe the apps will be automatically granted the permission to read pictures and videos, but they are managed by another permission group. Next, we will look at the permission explanations on iOS. To help users understand the permission request and make decisions, iOS requires developers to provide permission rationales for each permission request. Here is one example from Prisma app. Some lines below the text is the developer provided explanation to the users. This is mostly focused on why they would require this permission. However, this rationale message is mostly focused on the benefits, and they may even include wrong claims, making it hard for users to understand. To explore users' comprehension of such permission explanations, we also include related questions in the survey. We find that there is a common misunderstanding of the provider of the permission rationales. More than a half of the users believe the message is from the iOS, or they are not quite sure. Misunderstanding the provider of the message can have huge consequences. Users may think that all the developer provided information is true since they trust the systems more. Based on study, there are 2 possible reasons that they believe the information is from the iOS. First, due to the uniform appearance across different apps, the users believe that not a single app can achieve that. Second, they simply don't trust the apps would help them understand the permissions. In the end, we explore what the system can do to impact users' decisions. First, we performed a qualitative study to understand what concerns users may have in grant permissions. We performed a semi-structured interview for the users. Based on the interview study, we conclude 5 decision factors. Based on the decision factors, we designed a survey to quantitatively evaluate their impact. 3 simulated scenarios are designed for different permissions, and for each factor, we study both the positive and negative framings. Due to the time constraint, we will not present the findings for the quantitative study here. From the interview, we find 5 factors related to user decisions. We classify them into 2 categories. First is the internal factors, which is related to how the data will be used after granting this permission. It includes whether the apps will access data in the background and whether they will transfer your data outside your phone. We also find that the external factors that are related to people's opinion on this app. It includes the app developer's reputation, as well as ratings and reviews for this app. More results are covered in this paper, section 6. Based on our findings, we make several recommendations for the system designers. First, the system should provide clear notices for security enhancements. Users may misunderstand the security enhancements if not well understood. This may require joint effort from the app stores. Second, the design should address common misunderstandings. For example, the design of the permission group should fit into users' expectations. Besides, the developer providing the rationale messages should be regulated and the provider should be highlighted. Third, the system may provide extra information to address users' concerns. The internal factors may be obtained with OS level support, and the external factors may require more crowdsourcing efforts. In conclusion, our paper provides several findings on the Android permission model change and the runtime permission model comprehension and the decision factors. We hope our findings can reveal some common misunderstandings in a runtime permission model. Future systems can provide more information related to the permissions and play a more active role in helping users understand the runtime permissions. Thank you for watching my presentation. More results are presented in this paper. Please contact me for any questions. Thank you.